Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. Man, so this is the third week in a row that I have been talking about hurricanes. We talked about Hurricane Harvey hitting Houston. We talked about Hurricane Irma hitting the Caribbean and Cuba and Puerto Rico, all down there last week. And now this week, we're talking about Hurricane Irma hitting Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and I guess a little teeny tiny bit of North Carolina. So yeah, you guys, Mother Nature is not happy with the world today. If you ask me, it has a lot to do with global warming, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Yes, Hurricane Irma did make landfall down in Florida, hit the Keys, and then traveled up along the west side. They didn't think that it was going to go that way originally, but it did. So it sort of bypassed, well, it didn't bypass Miami, but the eye didn't hit Miami. The strongest parts went along the left side and went on up. Wreaked quite a bit of havoc in Florida. We watched on the news as it flooded a lot of areas and, did do some damage as far as water was concerned. For the most part, many of the homes, I won't say for the most part, but many of the homes in Florida and the building, the infrastructure is built to withstand hurricanes. Not category 5 hurricanes, obviously, but hurricanes because that area is prone to it. So buildings did not fall apart, not as quickly anyway as the homes in St. Lucia, St. Martin. I mean, the Caribbean, the smaller islands was just totally demolished, and my heart goes out to those people. I know I have rock stars on both of those places, and what are they moving people off of the island? Because from what I could tell, how could you even live there? It looks like everything was pretty much destroyed. In Florida, also here in Georgia, and in South Carolina mostly, there was some flooding. Everybody kept wondering if Atlanta was going to be getting hit the same way that these other southern states were being hit, these southern cities were being hit. And Atlanta is northern Georgia, first of all, and Atlanta is pretty much inland. So it definitely is possible that we could have flooding here because it has happened once. When we first moved here a couple of years later, they had a big flooding in Douglas, Georgia. But for the most part, Atlanta does not usually get those type of things, hurricanes. Now, tornadoes, Atlanta gets tornadoes, but still not necessarily in the city. It's usually in the outskirts where there's not as much, buildings and all of that. You usually need open area for a tornado to whip up and keep going. But southern Georgia definitely was hit. Savannah, and the cities down that way, Jacksonville, I have a friend that lives there who I actually have not been able to get in touch with, but I know that they had quite a bit of flooding that they weren't expecting, and the same up in South Carolina in the different cities there. So it has just been a crazy 3 weeks. If you guys watch my insecure videos, then you guys know that even though we didn't have any damage, I mean, it did rain for a few hours, and then it rained heavily, and it was very windy. We didn't have any damage, and nobody in my area did, but there were some downed trees. I do live not in my general area, but on your way to my subdivision, there are quite a bit of trees, and trees were falling down and knocking out the lines and everything. So we were out of power for a couple of days. Eventually couldn't take it anymore. Went and bought a generator. That next day, the power did come back up. But we got a generator, honey. We is ready now. Because we have been through many a times when our power, for whatever reason, the area that we live in loses power pretty often whenever there is something big like this. Okay, so we just can't be going through this no more. Okay, losing food, can't see. My house is all electric, so we can't take baths, because the hot water heater is electric. So just over it. So we bought a generator. But yeah, the weather down here is very much an experience. Okay, coming from California, we just not used to this kind of thing. I mean, I will much rather deal with an earthquake because the shit hits and it's done and your shit crumbled up and you just go crawl through the crumble and get your shit back out and then you just go somewhere else. But this flooding and the water, that is my biggest fear. I've told you guys plenty of times that my biggest fear is to die by drowning. And just the thought, that was why we didn't move to Florida, because we knew that it was hurricanes in there. I can't deal with that kind of thing. Like, just the thought of that unnerves me. So anyway, I don't know how I made all that about me, but Hurricane Irma. They say that in total, the damage estimated has been $150 billion to $290 billion between Texas and Florida. So quite a bit of damage. A big old task for the insurance companies and our government. I don't even know how they plan on, I don't know how this is going to be fixed, because that is a whole bunch of money. We know that they had this hand-in-hand telethon the other day where all the A-list celebrities got together to take calls to get donations, and they got quite a bit of money, $44 million, but again, 150 to $290 billion. It's a drop in the hat, but still, any help helps, right? So all of the celebrities jumped on board, yeah, 44 million. So they say that Apple gave $5 million, Albertsons, Merck is the pharmaceutical company, I think, gave $1 million each. The NBA Players Association gave $500,000 and also said that they would match any NBA player that gave $20,000. So they were able to raise, like I said, $44 million. And that's a wonderful thing. I know people were still making a much to do about, you know, who was doing the most work and having celebrities down there for just one day. And you know what? I don't even want to take the focus off of what the real true issue is, which is getting help to these people. I guess the best way that it can get done, if a celebrity has to lend their celebrity status to bring more attention to it, then fine. So if you got just Beyonce down there one day, fine. If you got, you know, whoever is down there just one day, at least it was one day out of their life. That's the best way that I can look at it now. I know that Trey the Truth has been down there doing the work, doing the footwork, and might not necessarily be getting the shine that he should be getting, but we know about Trey the Truth, and the Lord knows what Trey the Truth is trying to do. And if it is truly in his heart to help people, he doesn't need that shine, because it will come back to him tenfold. We can't be worried about what everybody is doing. Yes, it would be better if they did concentrate on the, you know, on the positives and the good things that Trey the Truth has done. But like I said, we know. Okay, even if it's controversial, we know what he has done. While they were at this telethon, though, there was a lot of talk about global warming, which I don't know how anybody could not think that the world is not hotter. Is that right? I had two double negatives there. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's obvious. We barely had a winter here in Atlanta last year. And that was one of the things that I do enjoy about being here, is the fact that we get to enjoy the seasons. But it's seeming like the weather is changing here. Even when I compare it to the weather in Los Angeles, it rains more in Los Angeles than it used to. And it is warmer here than it used to be. And, you know, you hear about these 100-year storms, and it ain't taking 100 years for the damn storm to come back around. I mean, it's been hurricane after hurricane after hurricane, at least every couple of years. Big, devastating hurricanes. So for people that want to ignore the fact that the climate is definitely getting hot, I just don't understand you. So they were talking about that on the telethon, and of course, you know, your right-wingers were upset with that. They're saying that they are turning this issue into a political issue instead of a human, you know, a human, what's the word? What's the word I'm thinking of, you guys? You guys know what I'm talking about. Just trying to help human beings and not even bringing politics into it. But there's no way you can ignore it. No way you can ignore it. And the fact that your stupid ass president pulled out of that whole big, the Paris, you know what I'm talking about. America is no longer even fighting the good fight, trying to make sure that our environments are, you know, protected and things like that. So I'm telling you, that damn Donald Trump is trying to kill us all. But yeah, it is just, hopefully the hurricanes will be done. Okay, this was peak season. I know that Hurricane Jose was behind Irma, but Jose got caught up in the water over, you know, not too far from Cuba. He was following her, and then he turned around and looked like he was heading back down. And I don't really know. I haven't heard much about Jose since then. And then it was Katia or Katia after Jose, and haven't heard much about that. I don't know if Katia dissipated as well, but yeah, you guys, these hurricanes is an eye-opener. My prayers, like I said, go up to those who are looking to whatever aid, whatever financial aid and physical aid that they can get, because I know that that is going to be a very large fight. If any of my rock stars out there are in any of these places and are still having problems from the effects of the hurricane, you know, hold your head up. We are praying for you every day. Many of us are donating to you guys every day, and hopefully soon enough you can get your life back on track. I've said that for 3 weeks now. Okay, how much longer is it going to take? I'm afraid it's going to take a while. Alright, you guys, so the Kanika Jenkins story, I don't even know where to begin with this story. I'm sure you guys have heard it if you follow social media in any kind of way. It has been the biggest viral story this week. It's a story of a 19-year-old girl who went out to party with her 3 friends for one of the girls' birthday parties, and the next day turned up missing. After the family pressed for a search, the police checked and found that the girl was dead in the hotel freezer that the party was in the night before. Okay, nobody seemed to know how she got into that freezer. And those are pretty much the loose facts of the story, because even that can change. I'm gonna tell you what, since this story came out, when the story first came out, somebody tweeted me the video of the girl who turns out to be one of Kanika's friends, the girl named Irene with the mirrored glasses on. That video had 456 views. Today, when you check that video has somewhere around 5 million views. And that is that's 3 days. That happened on Tuesday when I got that video. Or it might have been Monday. But anyway, the video that I'm speaking of is a Facebook Live video or Instagram Live. I think it was Facebook Live video of Irene, this Monifa girl who was also supposedly the best friend of Kanika, Kanika Jenkins in this room with some guys that I'm still not clear. I know one had a red jacket on, one had a white jacket on, the other one had a blue jacket on, like starter jackets, and other people. Now, when you first see this video, it doesn't look like it's that many people in this party, but there are quite a few other videos that are floating around where actually this looks like it is a for real party in a hotel room with a lot of people in there. I don't know what to tell you. The girl was there, obviously. The story is that Irene and Monifa set up this girl, Kanika, to get raped because supposedly Irene owed one of the 3 jacket boys some money. She could not afford to pay them, and because of that, she just offered up her friend Kanika that they would set her up and be in this hotel room and have sex with her. Now, I don't know if that story is true, but that seems to be the general consensus of the biggest story that's going around. But like I said, there is so many different conspiracy theories and so many different opinions that's going around that it is hard to make any type of judgment. Now, the police have said that they have not released how this girl died. They just said that on the surveillance video, there is video of her somewhere around 3 o'clock in the morning stumbling up to the guest services desk drunk, and then after that she ended up in this freezer. They're doing some remodeling on the hotel supposedly, and this is a freezer that is going to be on a restaurant that is in this hotel. It is not a used freezer from what I understand, so it's not an area that people would heavily travel because nobody is even using that freezer, but somehow she was able to get these 2 doors open, the police is saying, and get herself in there and close herself up and I'm assuming freezing to death, because like I said, they have not even released how she died. And we're not going to be able to really say what happened until we know if there was any trauma that was done. And look at the surveillance videos, which they say is somewhere around 47 cameras in this hotel where they can, 47 cameras. I don't know how large this hotel is, but I think it's a Crown. Is it Crown Royal? Child, I know that's alcohol, huh? What is it? Is it Crown Royal? What is it, y'all? The hotel? It's that hotel, so it could be a larger hotel. But, until they get to these surveillance cameras and see what's what, we can't really say what happened. The saddest part about it is there's a mother here who does not have any answer to how her daughter died. I'm sure is very frustrated about the fact that the police did not immediately search, and they don't immediately search. It usually has to be 24 hours because people leave and go do what they want to do, and most of the time they aren't dead somewhere. Most of the time somebody just lost track of them. They done went to somebody else's house, or trying to get away, even sometimes trying to get away from somebody. So the police don't immediately jump on it, but the down part to that obviously is when you don't jump on it and then this person dies, now you got a problem. The family wants answers. I would want answers too. But because this story has gone so viral, I'm sure it's making the investigation very difficult, because there's so many people that's weighing in, and people saying that. That now then turned into, somebody tweeted me a whole bunch of videos today, and I was just like, girl, I got it, you ain't got to send me no more. But I did watch one of the videos, and they're saying now that the brother might have been in on it, like the brother of the Kanika girl might have, owed somebody some money. It's just crazy and weird. And the story gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I just hope that there is some answer for this mother, because I can't imagine not knowing what happened to my daughter. You would at least want to know that. And then my heart breaks for a mother who, you got a daughter 19 years old, living their life, having a good time. You want them to be able to do these things and not end up dead somewhere, right? So I don't know how I would even be breathing if something like that happened to my daughter. And then we have to talk about, obviously, what's been the next big story from that is how people have to, every story that I read on this Kanika Jenkins things, everybody was saying, see, that's exactly why I don't trust these bitches. That's why I don't trust these hoes. I don't go out with them. I don't have friends. And that just broke my heart, because I don't know what has happened to us as a society that we just believe that no woman is trustworthy. If you don't have anybody in your circle that you feel that you can trust, you need to change your circle, first of all. Secondly, what does that say about you? You got to be a part of somebody else's circle, right? And they don't trust you either. It saddens me when I hear things like that, because I have really good friends, like friends that I know I could count on. So when I hear young girls saying stuff like that, I just think like, well, what kind of future are you gonna have? Okay, because it's all good and fine and dandy to have a man. Trust me, it is. But you will never find that type of sisterhood that you can find with another woman, because you guys have so many things that you can relate on, and it just makes me sad that women think that way. Now, of course, you need to be choosing friends that's not trifling. There's plenty of them kind of women out there as well, but there's plenty that aren't that way. So I don't want people to start thinking that way. That made me emotional. I was just like, boy, I tell you, the state of the world is terrible. Even Jada can start to say things like that, and I try to correct her all the time, because that is just not a good way to be. You be a good person, and you attract what you are. I've always felt that, and it's just what it is. And then this rape. Nobody is really talking too much about the rapist and the fact that they killed this girl, if it even happened. But we can't even ignore something like that. People being so worried about the fact that her friends betrayed her, supposedly, that nobody is saying, well, these motherfuckers should not have raped and killed this girl. Or even if they didn't kill her, because now there's even stories about she had a seizure, or she had a heart attack, and they didn't know what to do. They panicked and all that. But bottom line is, you got some man or men out there who may have raped this girl, and they should pay for it as well. But they've gotten kind of washed over and not even talked about, because of the fact that everybody is so worried about the fact that these girls did, supposedly betrayed her. When I just kind of think about the story, I just felt like, well, I don't know if they set her up, but I felt like maybe they was trying to be so busy go fucking doing whatever they wanted to do with some other guys that they did not stay with her. And I've told you guys plenty of times that when you are out with your girls, you always need that one friend. It always need to be one friend per 3 or 4 friends that's going to stay sober enough to keep an eye on everybody. Because I was the one that wasn't sober. I was always the one that had to be an eye kept on. I was never out there doing no whole shit. But I'm telling you, I just was one of them happy-go-lucky drunks, and I just wanted to dance and I wanted to be friends with everybody and all that. And you just obviously can't be that way. The one that was always sober was Debbie. Debbie kept an eye on you. She wouldn't let you go and, and all of that. So I felt like maybe they left her and the shit got out of hand with these boys. And then the result was what happened. But, that could even be wrong. I just don't even know. The story is just weird. It's just crazy. And because there's so many stories going around, I don't know if they'll ever get an answer for it. But we will see when the autopsy report is, when they say what the cause of death was, and when we can get some clarification on these surveillance videos, we'll know a little bit more, or maybe not. But you guys let me know what you think about that case. Isn't it strange? Prayers up for that family, though. They're gonna go through it. You guys, Jemele Hill. You guys know who she is. She is the ESPN reporter who one day, I guess she just got sick and tired of your fucking president and all his bullshit and decided to tweet a bunch of things about how she felt about him. I'm going to quote from her Twitter. Donald Trump is a white supremacist who has largely surrounded himself with other white supremacists. The height of white privilege is being able to ignore his white supremacy because it's no threat to you. Well, it's a threat to me. Trump is the most ignorant, offensive president of my lifetime. His rise is a direct result of white supremacy, period. He is unqualified and unfit to be president. He is not a leader, and if he were not white, he would have never been elected. And she goes on and on to speak, but that is the general tone of her tweets. Now, we have all said these things. We have all felt these things. We all believe these things. Well, not all of us, but many of us, most of you guys that are watching me. So we didn't see any lies or problems with the tweets. But I also know that when you work for something as large as ESPN, who is ESPN a part of Viacom? Well, even if they're not a part of Viacom, that is a large enough organization, a large enough company, a large enough network that you got to know that as a reporter for that network, you do represent the network. People look at you and they think ESPN if they watch your show, whatever you do. So when you make these type of widespread comments that can reach a lot of people, of course ESPN is not going to stand behind you. Even if they do or don't believe what you said, and when you have a corporation like that and there's businesses involved and sponsors and all of that, people watching, like, they would rather just not be involved at all. I'm sure that as soon as they saw them tweets, they was like, Lord, she done dragged us into this. But yeah, they basically came out and said that, those are her personal views and that is not what our network believes. Okay, and then she also had to come out and say the same thing. Those were my personal views, and it's not, a reflection of ESPN. And it is disappointing to know that ESPN would not stand behind her when, Donald Trump so blatantly did protect the people who, all of that shit that was going on in Virginia and saying that it was both sides' fault and all of that. You would hope that ESPN would have been more understanding of what she said, but again, I understand what ESPN has done, and you guys might as well just get yourself ready because they are going to fire Jemele Hill. She is not going to be there much longer. I don't know if they're going to do it in the height of all this going on, or if they're going to wait a couple of weeks and let it die down some and then just kind of let her go, or tell her that maybe she needs to move on to bigger and better things. But she's not going to be there, because if they've done these things to the Bill O'Reillys and the Tommy Laurens, okay, the other side of the spectrum, then we know that we can't expect them to not treat Jemele Hill any differently. So it's gonna happen. And I hate to see it happen. She's gonna land on her feet though. She probably will move on to bigger and better things. But in the meantime, Jemele Hill's days are numbered at ESPN. You guys, so Tyrese, he is such a bitch. I'm so sick of Tyrese. Now, just last week, or even earlier this week, I believe it was. He was mad about The Rock deciding to do a franchise spinoff from Fast and Furious about his character Hobbs. And Tyrese got onto Instagram and all but threatened him that if you make this movie, then it's going to water down basically the Fast and Furious franchise. The next one is coming out and, your movie is going to overshadow it and all that, which I don't believe it would have. Fast and Furious is always going to have their core fans. And then Hobbs is going to have his fans that branch off and probably see both of the movies. So really understand what the fuck Tyrese is talking about. On top of that, Tyrese was big up in the fact that he wanted a spin-off of him and Ludacris's character for their own movies because, they were the comedy relief. And so he was talking about that right after Fast and Furious, the last one, came out. But it's just been a lot of drama with Fast and Furious. It's a lot of egos. Like, that's a lot of masculinity. A lot of testosterone in that franchise. You got Vin Diesel. You got The Rock, who didn't really get along on this last movie that they shot. Michelle Rodriguez, her testosterone was running high, too. She said she mad about playing characters, women that are so weak and just really not no big part of the bigger plan of the storyline. A lot of the shit started to kind of fall apart when Paul Walker died. That's when you started to hear about the dramatics, and maybe it was because Paul Walker was the gentle soul that was able to kind of calm everybody down. Not sure if that's what it was, but he just seemed like he would be more of that type. And then when you just get the Vin Diesel, The Rock, Tyrese, and all these other personalities mixed in together and trying to be the boss hog down there with the biggest balls, then this is the kind of shit that happens. I don't know how much longer Fast and Furious could even go on. I love the franchise, but it's the same shit. And really, what stunt can they do to top the ones that they have done pretty much all of the car stunts that you would ever think that they could do, child. So I don't know. I can't worry about Tyrese. The Rock ain't responded to Tyrese. I hope that he doesn't. He doesn't need to. The Rock is the highest paid actor, him and Kevin Hart. So what he got to deal with a fucking Tyrese for? And why is Tyrese so worried about it anyway? Everybody in that fucking movie is paid and will continue to make money off of that franchise. He just needs to shut the fuck up. He is such a bitch. Then just yesterday he posted, now I guess the ex-wife said that Tyrese beat the little girl, the daughter that they have together. She's somewhere around 9 or 10 years old, pinned her down, put his knee in her back, and whooped her and all that. I don't really know exactly what was the story there, but she took it to court, and now I guess there is some question about the custody agreement that they have again. So Tyrese took it upon himself to go to Instagram and say how he's so sorry that, he don't love her no more and that they broke up. And that he fell in love with a beautiful woman and married her and is happy with her, and you ain't found no damn body and you miserable over there and you worried about what I'm doing all the damn time. So now you trying to make my life difficult with my daughter. Okay, but I just want to co-parent. I don't want to be with you no more. Now I'm not saying that what she's saying that he did was true or false. Okay. I'm assuming the little girl is 9, 10 years old. She is old enough to tell the judge exactly what happened. If the child truly is afraid of her father and she knows that is going to ride on whether or not she be seeing him as much as she has, she will tell that judge the truth. Why does he have to play everything out in social media? I done told you guys about how these motherfuckers are. They just got to always get the damn attention. And somebody told me yesterday that he's a Capricorn. I was like, no, Capricorns don't roll like this. I don't understand what the fuck done happened with the stars when that nigga was born. Oh my God, he is so annoying. And I tell you guys, one of my friends told me a story about him years and years ago. I wish I could tell you guys it. I cannot tell you this story. But he been a bitch for a long time. I'll just tell you that much. I'm so sick of him and his Twitter fingers. I want the motherfucker to get on some Advil and somebody give him a goddamn hug. Oh, he gets on my nerves. He is a jackass. We'll see what happens with him and his daughter and the baby mama. Hopefully they can fix this quietly and move on with their life, because as far as we knew, we thought that the shit was better, but obviously not. But something tells me it's mostly because of Tyrese. You guys, so this week was New York Fashion Week, and you guys know that is a big week in the fashion industry. All of the designers, the who's all travel to New York and display their next season, biggest hits. And I just love Fashion Week. One year I really want to go, but I want to go when I can afford to really enjoy Fashion Week. I mean, I guess the designer would have to invite me to their shows, because I don't think those are things that you can just buy tickets to. But it is something that I truly would like to visit one time, because I just love to watch the designers and the creativity of what they do on those runways. From the very smallest no-name designers all the way up to the huge designers that we all know and love and wish that we could afford to wear all the time. Now, the biggest couple that seemed to be all over New York Fashion Week was Cardi B and Offset, who I have grown to just think that are so cute. They have a lot of attention on their relationship right now, and I really hope that they can maneuver it, because not only is their relationship new, but Cardi B especially is very new to the spotlight. Offset has been around a little bit longer with Amigos, but when you got so many people weighing in and looking in at your relationship, on top of you having to maintain your careers, on top of you trying to maintain your relationship, it can be dicey. Bitches want your man, niggas want your woman, okay? And it just brings on a whole lot more for the relationship. But in the meantime, they seem to be having fun, and I just think they are so adorable. Good for Cardi B and Offset. Let's talk about Teyana Taylor and how bomb she is, with the fact that her body is that girl is very talented. And it doesn't sadden me, because listen, Teyana Taylor needs to take all the shine that she can get right now, because for a long time we had kind of knew of the name, but we didn't really know what she did. Well, it turns out that Teyana Taylor is very talented. She can sing, but you wouldn't kind of know that as much now, because we've kind of taken on Teyana Taylor as more of an entertainer / dancer, and not really a singer. And I'm okay with that, as long as we can get back to the singing. I don't want her to become this. It's not a spectacle, because girl, I'm telling you, that body is so right. I mean, I don't know, she must work out all the fucking time and must not eat anything that has even an ounce of fat in it, because she definitely doesn't have any of that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want her true talents of being a singer to be overlooked. And I'm really thinking that I'm sure she wants to be known mostly as a singer. You guys have her album. Her album is bomb. It's great. Okay, so I just don't want her to forget about these other things, as designers has kind of tagged her as the it girl for right now, and got her out there walking in bathing suits with her ass out, and dancing and gyrating and doing all of that on the stage. All that is good, as long as we got some balance. As long as we got some balance, that's all I'm saying. But yeah, she's been it. She's been it, and I guess she has Kanye to thank for that, because after she did that video for, what's the name of that song? Superstar? I know, is that the song? Y'all know what song I'm talking about. But after she did that, now all of a sudden everybody wants to see Teyana Taylor. So good for her. Fenty Beauty. Rihanna did debut her makeup beauty line, Fenty Beauty by Rihanna. And women everywhere rejoiced, especially black women who have had problems in the past with finding shades that are their color. Now, I will say that many of the makeup companies nowadays are starting to at least try to cater to some of the darker hued black women out there. However, when you think about a lot of the high-end makeup companies, they still don't have a very large palette of colors for women who are just maybe a shade or two darker than me to choose from. So when you have women that are very dark, when you have women that are like chocolate dark, you know, they have to resort to maybe trying a lower end brand, which usually will try to have a darker color, or try to make their own, you know, right shade by blending colors, or just having to do without. And dark skinned women want to wear makeup just like everybody else, and dark skinned women have money to spend on makeup just like everybody else. But if the choice isn't there, then what do you want us to do? So Rihanna listened to the cries of shades of women everywhere and came out with this makeup line that includes 40 shades of foundation. And I just actually happen to have the foundation on today, so I will give you a mini review real quick. The foundation is a matte foundation, and it is a true matte foundation. I put this makeup on. It's actually, I'm not used to having my face be so matte. I love a matte makeup, but I haven't been able to find a good one because I was using Becca's matte foundation, and then they discontinued it. That's whatever happens whenever you find some shit you like, then they discontinue the shit. Okay, so Becca had discontinued it, and I bought this other full coverage from Becca, and I ain't been happy with it ever since. So I put this on, and then I put like my my translucent powder over, and then after at lunchtime when I was about to leave, I was like, ooh, my face looked too dry. So I know I won't need that, but I don't have extremely oily skin, but I do have oily skin, and the makeup I've had on since 7 o'clock this morning, and I haven't had to blot or nothing. And I guess it's a little bit of shine trying to come through with these cheeks and shit, but still, I'm happy with the fact that it's matte. I don't never touch up my makeup and shit throughout the day, so by the end of the day, whatever it looked like, that's what it looked like. But I'm happy for Rihanna, you know, for her to be able to come out with this makeup line that was so widely stocked. Okay, I didn't go to Sephora until Saturday. It came out on a Friday. I didn't go until Saturday evening, and they still had a lot of product there. I was able to get the foundation. I think my shade was 340 or 360. Not sorry. Is it 340 or 360? Yeah, it was one of them. And so far, so good. The makeup actually smells like a brand new baby doll. Like when you take a baby doll out and it has that baby powder / plastic smell. That's kind of how it smells. It's light, it's nice, but so far I like it. All the other shit that she got I ain't buying though, because I think that I'm not into highlights, and I don't know what to do with that shit, and you ain't gonna have me up here looking like I, you know, just glittered out. So I'm gonna stay away from the rest of her products so far until she comes out with other stuff, until I learn how to do highlight and contour, and I probably won't ever learn how to do that, so I don't see me buying the rest of that. But I did want the foundation, and I'm happy with that. Happy for Rihanna. I just love that girl. She's young, she's doing it. She stays out of scandal for the most part, you know, 99%, other than the big thing that we all think of. And yeah, it's all good. Any of you guys tried the Fenty Beauty products? I'm sure many of you have. The foundation is cool. And like I said, she has shades from like white, almost like as if you were an albino, and all the way to the darkest dark, like my dad dark, you know, Charles dark. But good for Rihanna. You guys, if you haven't got out there, definitely try the makeup. So far, so good. Divorce dramas. Let's talk about Janet Jackson first. It's come out that her husband that she's currently divorcing was verbally abusing her while she was pregnant. Randy Jackson came out, who is, you know, Janet Jackson's very close brother, her ace boon coon. He's always with her lately. He came out and said that Al was calling her a bitch every day while she was pregnant. Y'all know how I feel about bitch and fuck you. So, I mean, I know that could be hurtful. They saying that that was the reason why Randy and the mama went to Paris to be with her while she was pregnant, because they was trying to protect her from her abusive soon-to-be ex-husband. Okay, but they had told us back when that was going on that the mama went out there because Janet was trying to get her away from the damn nephew that was elderly abusing her. So, you know, who knows what to believe with that family. All I do know is they're in a divorce. Janet Jackson is not with him anymore, so she doesn't have to suffer from that abuse any longer, and good for her. If it was going on, she's away from it now, and she's moved on with her life, and Janet is going to be just fine. Okay, another divorce dramatics that we have, Mel B, they say that she is under investigation for witness tampering. the most random of people, that Saya girl. Is that her name, Saya? The rapper from that, oh my God, what was the show called? Y'all know what I'm talking about. She was the gay girl on that show that was with, oh, y'all, I'm telling you, don't get old, baby. You forget everything. But y'all know who I'm talking about. Anyway, she was all set to testify that Mel B was lying about being abused, that her husband, Stephen Belafonte, did not abuse her, that Mel was lying. And then supposedly Mel B has sent her a text message and said, you better not say that shit else. Okay, we don't know what O else is, but I'm guessing Saya knew. And she took it on down to the police and told them. So that is now what the rumor is that Mel B is being investigated for witness tampering, threatening to witness, all of that. That Mel B divorce is so messy, because it looks like Mel B might have dabbled in a little bit of the dark as far as not being quite as innocent in this marriage as, she had everybody thinking. And it kind of takes you back to the shit that when Eddie Murphy was just like, she is the devil. And we all thought that Eddie Murphy was the devil for not wanting to deal with her, the fact that she was about to have a baby. But then now these kind of things that come out just kind of make you wonder. I'm not blaming Mel, but baby, I got my good eye on her. So yeah, we'll hear more about both of those divorces whenever they finish. But something tells me Mel B's divorce especially, it's going to be a whole lot more to that. All right, you guys, and then in quickies, congratulations are in order for Issa Rae. She is our new cover girl. That's right. CoverGirl Cosmetics, you guys, has signed Issa Rae on as a new spokesperson for their makeup line, their skincare line. And I am so happy for Issa Rae. That girl is just doing it and doing it well. And she's in a movie that's coming up. She's got the successful show. She also is the it girl for right now. And it's always good to see a black woman doing it, especially, it's just a good thing to see. I'm happy for her, and also very happy the fact that she was a YouTube start, and we like to support our YouTubers who go on to become mega stars, which is what Issa is. So congratulations to CoverGirl. It's a fist pump of righteousness. I called her CoverGirl. Well, she is CoverGirl. CoverGirl Issa Rae, congratulations to you. Congratulations are also in order for Sloane Stephens. Okay, she beat out Madison Keys to win her first Grand Slam title at the U.S. Open the other day. Okay, and good for her. I did not know who Sloane Stephens were. I don't follow tennis, so I know the big names, but yeah, I didn't know Sloane Stephens, and she just kind of snuck up there. I just saw one day that she was supposed to be playing Venus, and she beat Venus, and then she went on to beat Madison. And everybody says that Sloane Stephens is a good girl and has a great temperament, and they love her in the tennis world, and I'm looking for her to be the next star. I mean, Venus and Serena, as much as we love them, it's all, you always have to pass the torch eventually. I'm not saying that Venus or Serena are done in their careers by any means, but it's good to know that even the next branch of superstars in the tennis world includes a black girl. So congratulations to Miss Sloane Stephens. This Wendy Williams beach photo picture, I don't really know what y'all thought Wendy Williams was gonna look like. I mean, you see Wendy Williams on her show. She looks exactly like how she looks in her bathing suit. Big titties, very skinny legs, no hips. Okay? Of course, we usually look better in our clothes than we do when we ain't got no clothes on, if we not the type to work out and all that. You can look at Wendy and tell that she is not the workout type. But fuck, Wendy is what? 50 something, in her mid 50s. That is exactly how I pictured Wendy to look. Now when I look at the pictures now, it's obvious that they have doctored some of them. It is what it is. What do you guys, everybody's going on and saying, she shouldn't talk about nobody. That is what Wendy does. That's her job. Wendy don't care what you guys think about her. Wendy is rich. Wendy has a successful TV daytime television show. Wendy has her man. Okay, don't nobody really want her man, but child, that's a lie. It's always somebody that wants your man. Okay, but Wendy is set. Not only that, but Wendy says what she says, does what she does, and does not give a fuck. Okay, is not gonna respond to what people say. She gonna keep on doing. She gonna keep on living her life, and love or hate Wendy, you gotta respect that the woman, that's just what she is. All right, she has a difficult job having to talk about people. I mean, she don't have to do that, but she sort of does. That's what she has built her platform on. That is what Wendy Williams is now. So you know what? You just got to stand on it and move on with your life, and that's what Wendy did, child. But no surprises there. Wendy's body been fucked up. Alexis Sky. Supposedly she is pregnant by Fetty Wap. And, I mean, what can you say to that either, child? I mean, that was what her plan was. She done spent her whole life for the last year at least trying to get at Masika for getting pregnant while she was with Fetty Wap. I told you guys, Fetty, he trades off all his girlfriends and all that. I don't know what Fetty is working with, but whatever it is, child, they need to liquefy it and put it in a bottle and sell it. That nigga show is getting these women crazy. So supposedly he got Alexis pregnant, and I'm sure Masika is real upset about that, because just before this news came out, she was posting how, you know, he texted her saying that he always respect and love her because people be coming after her and she don't never do nothing, you know. And I was just like, oh. I can't keep up with that. I don't know if the girl is really truly pregnant or not, but time will tell, because babies don't disappear unless, of course, you get rid of it. But honey, if she is pregnant, I'm sure she's holding on to that seed like it ain't nobody's business. So what do you say? Congratulations to Alexis, I guess. We got a new couple alert, Common and Angela Rye. They say that these two are a new couple, and I think that is so adorable. They look like they would be together, and they would look good together, and that they would have good looking kids together. They both are very good looking people, and we just like the fact that they both woke and know some shit. Yeah, I'm here for that relationship if it is true. They're saying that those two were at the Creative Arts Emmy together. They took pictures on the red carpet together. And, you know, short of you following somebody on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, child, that's a telltale sign that a relationship is in the works. So if they are a couple, good for them. And then lastly, you guys, this iPhone X is coming out, what, November 3rd is when it'll be available. They'll have the pre-sales in October. I think October 27th is when the pre-sales start. I'm going to get that phone, of course. I am an Apple girl. You guys know that. So yeah, I'll be getting the phone. I'll be up at midnight trying to get the shit. I'll be frustrated because they're going to give me a damn date, tell me they're going to send it somewhere around Valentine's Day or some shit. I'm going to spend all that damn money on the phone. But that's what I do every 2 years. And actually in this case, it's every 1 year, because I just got this damn phone last year. But you know what? I gotta get it. I cannot be without the newest Apple phone. So even if it ain't even that big of a deal, and it ain't, because, you know, the phones, I mean, short of the phones, you know, jumping in your purse and jumping back out and coming up to your head and, you know, talking for you. I mean, what more can these damn phones do? But I love the sleekness and the operating systems of Apple iPhones. I'm a Apple fangirl, and yes, I'm getting the X. What you think? Well, I didn't talk longer than I wanted to. I'm going to do this Greenleaf video, though, and get on back to work, you guys. We do this every single week. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.